Well, needless to say, it was just a great day for us. Just so happy that our guys were rewarded with this win. We've been a group that has come to play every night in this conference, and there's a reason why every time that we'd play these other teams, the other coaches would always say to me, you guys are going to be really good. It's not so much about the talent they saw, but it was more about the spirit and the fight that they see in this young group. We just happened to play in a conference this year that was as good as anything I've ever been a part of, top to bottom, with experience, coaching, and wins were really hard to come by. And our young guys, and all of them, not just the young guys, the seniors too, they came back every day and they wanted to watch film, they wanted to get better, they wanted to practice. And if you just I kept telling them all year, keep putting yourself at the doorstep and keep banging on the door. And eventually, when you bang, it's going to break through. And, these last 3 games, it broke through for them. So to win 2 of our last 3, one on the road, to beat a really good team like Penn State, who's going to be going to the NCAA tournament and has one of the great players in the country in Lamar Stevens. Just really proud of our guys.
You've talked all season about looking for a breakthrough. Is this the breakthrough you felt was coming?
Well, I hope so, yeah. I mean, it's, to beat an NCAA caliber team, really Providence is probably going, but it's probably our second win against a team that's going to be playing here, in 2 weeks for all the marbles. And, again, I'm just seeing a lot of growth, and a lot of times I know you guys see the end result, which is the wins and the losses and what it looks like. But you don't get a chance to see, what these guys do behind the scenes, the extra work, the extra shooting, the film watching, the meetings that all these young guys are doing. That's part of their growth. And, that's why I've been saying I really like this core. And I really think these guys are going to do some really great things in the future. And anytime you can finish the year with some wins, I think it builds momentum heading into the off season. And, I think our guys are excited about going to Indy next week and, playing loose and playing free and see what we can do.
When you say growth, do you mean in their habits?
Yeah, just everything, skills, habits, maturity. There's been no secret. We've had a hard time at the end of games, probably 3-4 games that we kind of let slip away in the last 4 minutes. The last 2 game situations we've been in today in Nebraska, we won them both. When we had game pressure in the last 4 minutes. So we didn't turn it over. We made free throws. We got the stops we needed. So to me, those are growth areas to see a kid like Pete Nance, and his energy and his struggles throughout the year, and then him just keep working, and now the last 5-6 games, he's starting to show kind of some of the things that he's going to do. So I think for all of these guys, I've seen them all get better. I mean, for Boo Buie, to not be very good in the first half, 2 turnovers, 2 fouls, 3 minutes, to come out in the second half as a freshman and get 13 points and make big free throws and play the way he did. I mean, those are huge positives.
You refer to the term learn how to close out games.
Yeah.
What did they have to learn?
Well, you got to be in order, like you can practice that until you're blue in the face. I mean, you can put 3 minutes on the clock with a 6-point lead, but until you're in the environment and the crowd and you're fatigued from playing the game and the game pressure of the opponent, and until you go through that, like that's what our teams have always had to do when we were building our program. It's the same thing that other group that ended up going to the NCAA tournament. And then if you look at the year we went to the tournament, we won most of those close games. And that's why we went to the tournament. We won 6 or 7 games inside of 4 or 5 points. So to me, you learn it through experience. You learn it from being out there and being with your guys and figuring out how to win with what the game is giving to you.
How does winning 2 of the last 3 change how you feel about the season?
Yeah, I mean, look, I've said all along, like this year, I'm disappointed we only have 8 wins. There's no question about it. But, coming into this year, we knew what our roster was like, and then we lost Anthony Gaines, who was our only veteran guy that had been a key guy and had played. And when he played, we were 5-5, and we had wins over Providence. We had a win at Boston College, and we beat Bradley, who might win the Valley. So, when he went down, we became even younger. And so, that's why our attitudes have stayed upbeat with these guys all year. And I was just hoping that they could taste some success. That was my biggest challenge as a coach, because I saw what our guys were putting into it. And when you got to keep going into the locker room with heartache and defeat, and you can get beaten down. Losses take their toll. And so my whole thing with these guys has been to just keep at it, keep working, keep playing, keep improving. Focus on the things we're getting better at. And we've put it together here, the last couple of weeks, and we're playing better. We didn't score the ball as well, but the way we came back the other night, we're down 28-11 to Wisconsin, who wins the conference on the road. We cut it to 4 at halftime. So there's a lot of positives with this group that I think are going to head into the spring, and we're going to have a huge offseason ahead of us. Everybody sees that. We got to get stronger. We got to continue to get better. We got to, continue to add to what we have. And I'm just excited about this group. I am. And I know you look at it and it's 8 wins and it doesn't look great, but I just think these guys are going to do some really good things over the next couple of years.
Coach, now that you have kind of broken through, you said these last 2 or 3 games, how does the message change in the locker room? Not that we need to finally break through, but now that the door has
I think the main thing is to not get satisfied because you won a game or two. It's continue to push for more. And, and I think that's going on with the guys. I see their confidence growing. When you win, you get more confident, and that's just the bottom line. So the fact that we've pulled out, a couple wins here in the last 2 weeks, I think we're going to go into Indianapolis with a lot more confidence. Now we're going to face a really tough team in Minnesota that's handled us here for 2 games. But, I think our guys are going to go in there with a confidence to them just because they know they can win. And that was the main thing during that losing streak. You start to lose a little confidence if you can win.
Speaking of confidence, how big was it to get those pair of 3-pointers to start the game on the way?
Yeah.
Shooting 50%.
Yeah, well, I told Tino, man, I should. He was in the game for 4 minutes and we were up 10-0. He was pitching a shutout. So, but yeah, AJ banked the one in, and then Miller, it looked like he lost it when he went up. It looked like he kind of lost the ball, and it went in. It just got us. We're a young team, so a lot of times with young players, they base how they're doing if the ball goes in or not. And so when you make a couple shots early, I think it lets a little bit of the air out of the balloon. It gives them a little bit of comfort knowing, okay, it's going to be okay. We've scored a couple. We've made a couple shots. Now we can settle into the game. So there's no question that start of the game was huge. It was 10-0, whatever, 16-4, whatever it was. And it just gave our guys that confidence, even when they made their run, that we could win the game today.
Miller Kopp and Ryan Young both put up solid box scores today. How have you seen those 2 guys develop over the course of the season?
Yeah, Miller's been really good. I'm really proud of his development. He's such a hard worker. For him, he's number 1 on everybody's scouting report. Every time you play, they try to take him away. They try to get into his body. They try not to let him get shots. And he's done a really good job as the season's gone along and how to find his shots and how to move without the ball and cut and, try to get himself to the foul line a little bit. And he's going to continue to improve in those areas. And he's just such a competitor. That's why I loved him in high school. The first time I saw him, I loved his warrior spirit. He's a competitor. He's fiery. He's about all the things that I love in players. And that's why he was the guy that I wanted from the first time I saw him. And then in Ryan's case, are you guys kidding? He's playing a position in this conference like I've never seen. We'll see what happens, but you might have up 8 or 9 centers being all league out of 15 guys, next week when it's, and he's a freshman. So on a nightly basis, having to go against Luka Garza and Daniel Otoro and Kofi Coburn and Teskey and Xavier Tillman and I'm leaving guys out because the list goes on and on. Caleb Wesson, that's who he's had to play against every night as a freshman, and so that only can make you better. And some nights you do okay, and some nights you get outplayed by those guys, but I think he's going to be a guy that has a great career for us. He plays hard. He's got a quiet demeanor, but he's got a toughness to him that I think's going to turn out to be really good over the next 4 years.
Coach, back here. Congrats on the win.
Thank you.
What impact will the seniors of this year's class have on the future of Northwestern basketball?
Yeah, and I've talked to those guys about that. Like I want them to feel really good about being a bridge, to the next wave of success here, because we're going to win. And our guys feel really good about where we're headed and what's going to happen, starting even next year. But I want these guys to feel really good about the influence they had on him in a year where maybe we weren't ready to win. And so even Pat Spencer being here for a year, just his competitive spirit, his confidence, his swagger, that has helped a guy like Pete Nance. It's helped a guy like Boo Buie. AJ Turner, he's as good a teammate as you'll have. The guys love him. He's always got his teammates back. He's a great friend to these guys. He supports them, win, lose, whether he's starting, coming off the bench. And you see how the guys feel about Tino. Tino's been a great leader for this group. He's been a captain. He hasn't played much, but he has a good voice in our locker room. And I told those guys, I want them, when they're watching us next year, when they're watching us over the next couple years and they see the growth that this group makes, I want them to feel really good about the seeds that they planted in these young guys and how they helped us get to where we want to go. Thank you.